Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a tune-up on a 2008 Honda Odyssey with the VTEC engine. You're only going to need a basic set of tools. I'm going to show you those here in a little bit. But one of the things I did notice immediately, other than the customer's complaint, I scanned it, cylinder number 4 misfire. I found out that the ignition coil was bad. When I researched it, on this particular year, there's multiple 3.5 liters. When you look it up, the ignition coils, you're not gonna know which one it is. Basically, one's longer than the other one and one's shorter. But I'll show you here in a bit how that works. But here we go. Okay, first step to every job is always prepare and know what you're dealing with. We're only going to need a few basic tools to do this job. Some long nose, needle nose pliers, possibly a trim tool. I always keep that handy. A 5/8 spark plug socket, preferably swivel. I like to use different lengths, so I'm going to have a few extensions available. A pick, a magnet, and a flathead screwdriver. Always use quality parts. I choose to use AutoZone Duralast parts. They are the best. They will stand up over time, and the customer will be super happy. You will not get a callback if you use Duralast parts. On this particular car, I used NGK Iridian. The 6 brand new spark plugs. I had an issue on this car, so I'm going to show you. You want to download the AutoZone app on that specific car and make sure that the spark plug says VTEC engine. Hold on a second. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look under ignition coils, you're going to see that they have two different options, and there's either going to be a J3586 engine or the J35A7 engine. The J35A7 engine is the VTEC, which you can see right here. The ignition coils are going to be a little bit shorter than the original. The reason why I brought that to your attention, because you always want to be prepared. You always want to know. If yours is the regular 3.5 that doesn't say that VTEC symbol on it, then you know. So here we go. You always want to have good lighting. I know it's going to look kind of dark in this video, but you got 3 up front. The 3 in the back you're not going to be able to see, so you're going to have to go by feel. First thing we want to do is simply unclip the connectors. You may not need the pick on yours. Alright, so it's 10mm nuts. Let's go and take those loose. I'm videoing. As you see, I made short work out of that with a simple 10mm shallow socket, swivel, electric ratchet. It's a little tight, but you can maneuver these right out. This is number 4. We know this one does, or this one's number 4. We know it don't work. So I'm gonna set these two to the side. I like to save my old coils for a poor man. Sometimes people just need a little help. I'll throw them in a box if I can help them out. Or a poor woman. We all have times where we become poor. So next, we simply want to remove the spark plugs. My particular spark plug socket tool has a magnet on it, but trust me, it doesn't always grab. That's why I have a magnet under the tool list. I want to bring your attention, this one was number 4. As you can see, it's very wet, so you know it wasn't firing. This one's dry, but it's still wore out. It's recommended that these spark plugs and coils be replaced between 80 and 120,000 miles. If you don't do that, you're going to experience a situation with a check engine light coming on, possibly blinking. You may not have the money at the time. You do one at a time. A couple days later or a week later, you gotta do another one. But for some reason on the Hondas, I've noticed that when one goes, they all start going. All Nissans. Don't go out and think you're getting a tune-up and get ripped off at your local tune-up shop. And they sell you a tune-up and put the old coils back on. Because trust me, you will be doing it twice. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and look at these spark plugs. All Iridium Platinums come pre-gap, but you do want to check them out. Because if a parts store guy drops them from a shelf, one could be closed up. So you just want to make sure they're all similar. I check every single time, and just recently I found one that was closed shut. Some of the manufacturers are getting smart and putting little plastic sleeves on there so that it can't happen. So you simply want to slide all 3 of them down in there. You take your tool, never start any bolt or spark plug or anything with the power tool. Get a couple threads started, you'll feel them. Pull it out and move to the next one. For beginners, I do not recommend drawing in spark plugs with your power tool, period. You could easily break the white coating on the top part of the spark plug. They crack very easily. You will see in this video that I do draw them down with the power tool, but I take my time and I hold it at a steady angle. Simply you want to give it one good smell to crush the washer. Go back to each one, do the same thing. Next, you want to open up your beautiful ignition coil pack by AutoZone Duralast. Take out each one and inspect it. While you're doing that, stuff in old perch. If you're doing this job for a customer, just give them the box if they want the old part. People like saving their old parts. Partial reason they've had jobs done in the past where mechanics said they replaced the part and they really didn't. Sometimes they just want to save them for no reason, I don't know. But either way, it's their car, they're paying you. Let them decide. If they don't want the old parts and you know which one coils were good, put them in your little box. I like to go ahead and plug them in, slide them down. Plug them in, slide them down. I wish I could say the rear ones are going to be just easy. It may be a little bit of a challenge for a beginner, but there's a few things that are going to be in your way. Don't worry about that. Make sure all these snap back in. Put a slight bit of pressure on her. It's enough where you can start the nut. Get 2 or 3 spins on it. Your ratchet, your swivel, and your 10, just like you had before. You gotta be super tight. You're not holding on a wheel or nothing. As you can see, that's beautiful quality right there. Alright, now we're going to start on the back. You are not going to be able to see what I'm doing. We have 5 senses. Some people have 6. So this particular sense that we're going to use is a sense of feel. I have found over time that when you're feeling for something, if you close your eyes, you can focus on feeling. So I'm pushing this clip down. Pull up. I can feel the 10mm nut. I realize it's easier to put a 2-inch extension on there. So these back ones I like to do one at a time. I like to hold my finger right where the nut and the socket's at so I don't drop the nut. This first one's the easier of the 3. Just simply set that up there. I'm going to go ahead and grab the spark plug socket,
slide it down into the hole.
I always like to build out.
I'm going to pull this out really slowly.
Here we go. That's the first one. Set it right there.
We're gently going to reach down, feel for the hole. Glide it down there gradually. Just put the poke socket back in there. Get a couple threads started. One more little crank. Pull this back out.
Get another ignition coil. Slide your trash back in there.
Set this down in here. Got it onto the stud that the nut's gonna go onto. Oh, I like to snap this definitely in before I slide it down because it's much harder. You can't see it.
There's your nut.
Remember, you're not gonna see it.
Feel for it. Got a couple threads started.
It's tight. And now we're gonna go to the next one.
We're gonna feel for it.
See, now stuff. Pull up on there. Get the snap loose.
Get the first coil ready. Gonna be the next spark plug. Grab your socket.
I'm saving the hardest for last. Normally, if I wasn't videoing, I usually do the hardest one first. I've had to do these in rain, all kinds of situations. But
if you don't have a socket set that's like mine, you can get one of these cheap online. You would just take a magnet like this, Stick it down on the hole. As you see, it easily grabs the spark plug.
Set that down in there. Let's go and get it started by hand.
It's your ratchet.
Give it a little crank to crush the washer. Snap this bad boy down in here. Get it started in the hole. But you'll hear a slight snap when you clip that clip on there. Alright, I'll spin the little nut on. Let's go ahead and just get this hard one out the way real quick. Remember, it's important to build out. I found this one to be the harder one,
But a swivel and a 2-inch extension should take care of it with ease.
you're kind of fishing between these heater hoses right here. And you can see the tip of it sticks up right there. A little bit wiggle and pull up slowly. And get the nut out. Alright, now you want to kind of pull up on the coil. Clip, pull it. You gotta kind of do a little turn on this one.
Alright, so we got that out.
Now you want to feel for the hole where the spark plug goes. Get that down in there. Put this up on top of it.
You may want to change up your extension.
So that's going to be kind of tight to get to with just that 2-inch, because that hose is going to be in your way. If I had to, I'll put a 1-inch on there. Let me see if the 6-inch will work, or if it's too much. Okay. So we're gonna want to get a second 2-inch. So all together we got the swivel with a 4-inch. This may not work, we might have to change it up. Okay, I'm thinking 1-inch. And let's switch style ratchet, because this ratchet's kind of long. I can't get the angle I want. Old Milwaukee. fully charged up. It never fails me. A little shorter so I can fit it up in the tire spot. Still giving me some trouble. I told you this one would be aggravating. Alright. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna switch it all up on the all again. I'm gonna pull the 1-inch off. I see it opening. Booyah! I'm not gonna come all the way up and jam myself up. Cause I felt the back of the ratchet getting ready to get stuck. So I'm gonna slide this out. I'm mainly just gonna spin the rest of it out my finger. So as you can see, that's the one that's probably going to give you the most problems. Let's get this new one back in here. You know, fill for the hole. And by the way, don't try to do it as fast as me. Just take your time. It's not a race, it's a marathon. You're gonna be highly agitated when you drop that thing down and don't fall through to the bottom, or if you drop it down, it closes the gap. Get started. Switch this back over into regular. Get a nice little rub snug. Pull on out. Alright, we're going to put both the nuts on at the same time. Alright, we're going to grab our last beautiful ignition coil. Duralast ignition coils, the ones that hold up. Put our nuts right here so we won't lose them over fishness in here. Kind of got a weird turn to get it back in there. You gotta kind of find your way. Don't do no heavy prying or anything cause a secondary coolant leak or something. Just naturally find the sweet spot. There you go. Right now we want to feel for the little stud. Okay, we're about in the right spot, so let's go ahead and plug the clip in. You're not going to hear it on the camera, but I felt a slight click and heard a little click. Push down on both of those coils so you can spin the new nuts on. So we're almost done. Okay, one nut starter. second. Let's start. Okay. Go ahead and tighten this up. As you see, we got room to get that. I'm gonna use my old Milwaukee because I kind of miss it. I haven't used it in a while since I got that new green one. Oh, I remember why I stopped using that thing. I used to mess up on my own phone. Get one a little snug. Move over to the last 10. Okay, observe everything you did. Obviously I snapped that out of place, unless the other person didn't. Somebody previously never put that clamp back on. Even if you ain't the one done it, fix stuff like that. Attention to detail. Alright. The same guy that did that probably broke those things right there. It's kind of frustrating. Nothing we can do about it though. So if you see that, you're working on a customer's car, point it out to them. That way they don't come back and say you did it. I give you a bunch of pointers. If you got a wheel lock on car and say, oh, it's in the glove box, don't just put it back in the glove box. Hand it back to the customer. Here's your, make it real clear, here's your wheel lock. That way they don't call you 3 months down the road, hey man, you're the last one to use my wheel lock. Say, no, I specifically handled it to you, don't you remember? Alright, now we got this all done. We're gonna move to the inside. You already got the key out here? Thank you, sir. Always verify and check. We're gonna scan this thing. We already previously scanned it, but we want to clear the codes out, and then we want to verify and check. I did a previous video on this car. Customer went to a local repair shop. They forgot to plug in the transmission pressure sensor. Well, they also forgot to recommend a tune-up for the guy. Even though he has really high miles on there, they were already there. They had to take the stuff off anyway. It would just been extra parts. But what do you know? They didn't. Poor guy, about to give up on this van. I had to explain to him that this is a very well sought after van. It's got the VTEC engine in it. A lot of people would love to have this car. It's in great shape. The guy's kept up on it really well. And I'm sure the guy would have went ahead and said, yeah, go ahead and do the tune-up. But who knows? Mechanic probably having bad day. The work that he did do was semi-okay, but I've seen several pieces that weren't put back. But the valve cover part looked pretty decent. But you can't do part of it decent and then jerry-rig the rest of it. We're not doctors, man. We're not practicing. We gotta be 100% of the time. You see how many codes are under that PGM FI? We're gonna clear that junk out. Alright, let's simply hit clear. Okay, typical fashion, a lot of times those codes won't clear out because the vehicle needs to be driven for a very short period of time so that the car can make sense that the problem does not exist anymore. As you can tell, all the power is back in the engine. I'm gonna come up to a stop. Put it back in park. I'm gonna cut the key off. I'm gonna hit clear fault code. I'm following directions. Okay. As you can see, code's gone. All the lights are off on the dash. But I always tell everybody, and I learned this from my buddy at Precision Sheet Metal, Craig. Some of my favorite sayings, anyway. You only gotta be 10% smarter than what you're working with. Thank you for watching our video today, and I hope you all and your families have very Merry Christmas. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Thank you.